I like to do, we'll get a little humor in there and make everybody laugh on a dark subject because this story is going to screw you up. Ugh. From Fox News. CNN producer accused of child crimes. Once decried growing news stories of child abuse cases in old tweets. New Day producer John Griffin faces up to life in prison. According to this report, I'm trying to keep it family friendly for you guys who might be having kids nearby because this is dark stuff. He worked shoulder to shoulder with Chris Cuomo. He paid a woman $3,000 to bring her 9-year-old daughter to his home where he committed a very serious atrocity against that child. And that's what he's accused of. And I do think it's fair to say, even in the most heinous of crimes, we must recognize innocent until proven guilty. But these are very disturbing accusations against somebody working high level at CNN. We also have had a bunch of other stories, too, that I want to just briefly mention. The CIA, who was soliciting children, and they didn't want to prosecute him because they were worried about state secrets. And then, of course, the very obvious elephant in the room, Epstein, which has not yet been resolved, but everyone knows. And so the issue I have is it's really fascinating to me that if you follow the establishment, they'll tell you there's a conspiracy theory that powerful elites are abusing children and trafficking them. And sure, yeah, some of it is out there crazy conspiracy stuff like, vampiric global elites are like exsanguinating babies to like live forever or something.
Drink their blood.
Which is a gross exaggeration of people who do get blood transfusions to try and increase their health or whatever. But the reality is more and more stories are coming about high-ranking media establishment elites who are abusing, and that's not committing atrocities against children. Let's just call it atrocities.
Yeah. Wood chipper, all of them.
Yep.
No.
Well, you're not pro wood chipper?
I'm not. No, we got to lock them up.
Man, this has been going on since
not even just a little wood chipper?
It's like okay, when you get into a massive amount of power, do you go crazy? Because you're like, I am now in control of the slave ship. I decide who lives and dies. I'm insane now. So they tend towards this behavior, like what these people are doing to kids, or is it that those people? I mean, it's not natural. It's not natural to do that. It seems. I don't know, man. You study the history of like humanity. Like girls were getting married when they were 12. 1,000 years ago.
A lot of people gain a lot of power and a lot of money, and a lot of it goes to their head. There's megalomania. There's people literally having God complexes. If you look at Jeffrey Epstein, he was into population control, eugenics, like a lot of very powerful people are. Now, this kind of CNN, CIA connection, doing horrible things to children is not rare, as of course there have been many instances when this has been happening with very powerful people, including a lot of people that are connected to the royal family that were doing similar actions that are absolutely unspeakable and horrible. We have Jimmy Savile. We have the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom previously beforehand caught red-handed doing unspeakable things, mainline celebrities. But hold on, I just want to make this one final point here.
I'm not going to stop your train of thought. I'm just going to add one thing. There's a photo of Epstein at the Queen's cottage.
Yes, but it's not just that. It's not just that. It's not just Epstein and Ghislaine and there's also Kevin Spacey hanging out at specific areas that only the Queen's allowed to be in. So it's Kevin Spacey, Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein, but there's also photos of Ghislaine Maxwell pictured with Jeff Zucker's wife. Jeff Zucker is the chairman, CEO of CNN, and Ghislaine Maxwell is pictured many times with his wife. There's also pictures of Ghislaine Maxwell and the founder and the owner of The Atlantic. The Atlantic just wrote a piece that was entitled "The Great Fake Child blank Abuse. Expletive the fake epidemic that's not happening." And they wrote an article about how this is all not happening just recently during the middle of the Ghislaine Maxwell case, which is absolutely absurd to say the least. And to see the owner of The Atlantic with Ghislaine Maxwell, to see Ghislaine Maxwell with Jeff Zucker's wife, to see Ghislaine Maxwell with so many other powerful people. Now, it could be Ghislaine Maxwell just storming in, taking a photo there. I'm not here looking to make any judgments here. Correlation does not prove causation, but there sure is a lot of coincidences. There sure is a lot of these very powerful people that do work together, that do have similar actions that are unspeakable to children, that deserve to be called out for, that deserve to be held accountable for, that people deserve to be at least in prison for the rest of their lives for the horrible actions that they committed against children. And a lot of these crimes are not prosecuted. A lot of these crimes, the people who did the horrible things, they're able to get away with them. And that, to me, is the biggest injustice, because in a lot of these cases, your tax dollars are paying for these people's protection.